very frustrated. I called on the president to invoke the 14th Amendment and mint a coin and do not negotiate with hostage takers. I mean, we don't negotiate with terrorists globally. Why are we going to negotiate with the economic terrorists here that are the Republican Party?
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely right. Jamaal Bowman calling out the House Speaker for his unwillingness to actually be logical, rational, and maybe serve we the people. And the Biden administration is not going to use the 14th Amendment as a workaround as far as this battle for the debt ceiling goes, because we know it's coming down to the wire as that June 1st deadline is coming up. And while the Hill, their headline here captures the state of the controversy. Check this out. Debt ceiling progress, but no deal as Washington barrels closer to default. Now here's where things stand. Deputies for President Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy are reportedly eyeing a 2-year increase in the debt ceiling to be accompanied by spending caps of the same duration, a timeline that we would push the threat of default beyond the 2024 elections, a key demand of Democrats. But another source familiar with the negotiation pushed back on the report, saying there is no agreement yet on top line spending levels, nor is there agreement on a 1 or 2 year extension of the debt limit. The deal cannot come together, the source said, until there is an agreement on non-defense discretionary spending versus defense spending. Yeah, because defense spending is kind of problematic and extraordinarily high. AOC took to the House floor yesterday to really address this issue.
We're here on the last day of this session. Republicans have decided to skip town. But what this debt ceiling debate really is about is the fact that they have run up a bill, Republicans have run up a bill that they now do not want to pay. They have run up this bill with extremely excessive military spending. They have run up this bill with extraordinary tax cuts for the wealthiest people in this country. And now when it comes down to time to pay for this bill, they do not want to pay it. And not only that, but they are accusing Democrats of saying we spend too much. For anyone that wants to entertain that thought, I ask you to think about the last time a person has said in this country that the government does too much for them, that their Social Security check was too high, that teachers are paid too much. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen that?
Oh, that is quite the question. It makes me really wonder, are people actually in these positions for legislature where they give a damn about serving the people? Because it's the people who are saying, hey, we can barely afford housing. Hey, we can barely afford groceries. We need more. And yet it's the Republicans who want to cut spending that really benefits the people by providing social services. It's absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned. Mondale?
Yeah, I think going back to what Representative Bowman said, the idea that the Biden administration is giving Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans this power is absolutely ridiculous. We have the 14th Amendment for situations like this. It should be evoked. And we're seeing right now where people are talking about this potential deal. This potential deal even still will cause harm to families that are living on the margins, majority of Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. And the idea that we're willing to let military spending, we heard AOC say this, continue to go unchecked in this supposedly deal is disgusting to me. We're still allowing those that benefit the most continue to live that way, while people that are living on the margin will be responsible for something they're not responsible for, i.e. America's tax bill, or I should say credit bill. And the idea that Trump by himself added $1.7 trillion because of tax cuts to the deficit. And now none of these people who benefited from that will suffer at all under any plan that McCarthy's gonna agree to, because we saw Trump put his feet to the fire when he said they should not negotiate. Is absolutely disgusting that poor and working class people in America are about to suffer again because Joe Biden is afraid to use the 14th Amendment when he should definitely. When we've seen over the past 10 years, 13 times we've raised this clean, and he's sitting here negotiating on terms that he shouldn't be.
Absolutely. It's clear to me that Biden is not here for we the people. He is here to maintain the status quo and to ensure that the Republicans don't get that upset. And that's not what you're supposed to be here for. You're supposed to represent the people. And knowing that Biden doesn't have the gumption to use the 14th Amendment to lift that borrowing cap, really working around the negotiations, all it does is make me concerned for the future of our government, even if we give Biden another 4 years. Well, really, what's the difference here? Anyway, we know Kevin McCarthy is really putting on quite a show as he wants to really appear cooperative, even though the man has really no interest in ensuring that we get this deal done.
Let me tell the American public, I am not going to give up. We're not going to default. We're going to solve this problem. I will stay with it until we can get it done. But let's be honest about this. We have to spend less than we spent last year. It is not my fault that the Democrats cannot give up on their spending.
Yeah, McCarthy loves them mischaracterizations, and he even took to Twitter to peddle some more. And of course, he got fact-checked with the quickness, but check this out. He starts out with tweeting this: do you have an extra $800 lying around? That's how much more you owe as your share of the national debt since January 12th. When I first called on President Biden to negotiate, his delay has real consequences. His default would be even worse. Of course, shifting this blame to Biden, his default, his delay. Yeah, right. Let's talk about the facts, which Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre put out there. Check this out. She responded to McCarthy with, the debt went up more than $20,000 per person under the Trump presidency. That's right, and anybody who has done their taxes will know good and well that it is not a good situation. And that's a result of the Trump administration and their efforts. It's really quite clear that the GOP wants this default to go forward so that they can derail Biden's chances at re-election, even though it is far enough in the future. The fact is that it will be felt by all Americans and probably globally. Mondale.
Yeah, I mean, Republicans are the party of we're gonna shut it down. I mean, we saw with Mitch McConnell when he said we're gonna make Barack Obama a one-term president. They are not a party about governing. They're a party about power, control. It's all they want. And the fact that the Democratic Party's wasted their opportunity when they had all three houses to enact power that could have benefited working class and poor people in this country is absolutely disgusting. We see people choosing to opt out of politics, and it's because of the Democratic Party isn't fighting for them in a manner that produce results. We end up moving further and further to the right because the Republican Party is willing to go that much further. And they don't care if, like you said, if this country is off the rails, because in the end, their base is not gonna move. Their base will show up for this idea and this whiteness, and we're seeing it in real time.
Absolutely, and we are gonna end up paying for it at the end of the day. We really need Biden and the Dems to actually step up and to do their jobs.